Hello everybody, I'm Roxy and this is Wreck Me BS. I know it's been a while. There's actually a video forthcoming about it, and I was not going to make this book haul at all. You can always check out my Bookstagram. I'm much more active now, and I'm actually participating on Nonfiction November. Anyways, I am making this video because I'm very excited. As you know, I live in Santiago in Chile, and books are very expensive in Chile. Partly because we do not have a very big industry of producing them here. So they are mostly imported from Spain, Mexico, and even Argentina. And of course, that comes with a price tag. But also, the secondhand book market is not usually as cheap as, say, when you go to the US or England or Ireland, places that I've visited, and I've seen how cheap secondhand books can be. There are some exceptions, and one of them is Green Libros, so Green Books. It's a really great initiative because it's a non-profit organization. I'll just leave some information down below. It might not be very relevant for you watching, but I just want you to know of this initiative. They sell used books, and the profits go to sustain the bookstore itself, but also they do bigger projects where they donate books for schools that really need it. So it's amazing. Anyways, this is the first time I went to like a sale that they have once a month. I don't know why, I'd never been before, and it was so amazing, and I got so many great books, most of them in English, so that's why I'm filming this for this channel. Let's start. The only book actually that I did not get in English was translated from English, The People from Silicon Valley by Thomas Mahan. Again, this is a Spanish edition, and it's very old, which is why I like it. Of course, now we all know Silicon Valley. We know the kind of tech industry. This is the story before the big tech companies, or what the tech companies of that time were. So this was published 1985. So clearly it's a very different vision. And so I'm fascinated. So that was my Spanish purchase. Everything else is in English. I have Apocalypse by D.H. Lawrence. So here's the thing. I have not read a full novel by D.H. Lawrence. I own Lady Chatterley's Lover, which is his most famous work. And this is much more political. He is a very diverse and strange and interesting character. And I just have sort of accumulated works by him. And at some point, I guess, I will read them. I don't have any other excuse. I also got The English Patient. I have not read anything by this author. I always thought I'd start with The English Patient. So, and it comes with a bookmark. Then I have The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. I have not read any Faulkner. No, that's not true. I have never read a novel. I've read several short stories by him, and I've loved them all. So it's time to try one of his novels. This one, I think, is about a man who has some sort of mental developmental issue, and it's narrated in his voice. And I know this not only because general culture, but it's a very common example and a typically analyzed novel in the field of stylistics, which is my current area of undergrad research. So there you go. Also, I really love these vintage international editions. I have several, and I think they're gorgeous. So I was so pleased with finding that. I also have The Opposite of Fate, Memories of a Writing Life by Amy Tan. Once again, I have not read any Amy Tan. I don't even own the Joy Luck Club, which is what I hope will be my first Amy Tan. But I'm obsessed with memoirs, so I don't care that I have not read anything by her yet, but I do hope to. I also got Islam Today, A Short Introduction to the Muslim World by Akbar Ahmed. I don't know a lot about the Muslim world at all, and I think I should learn more. I just want to be more knowledgeable about it. Then I have Travels with My Aunt. I have not read any Graham Greene. I've been meaning to at some point because I know he's like such an interesting author. It's just that I don't know if he will be for me. Like, I've been about to pick up some of his books from my uni library, but they do not sound appealing. They don't have this one though. This one sounds more interesting because there's a lot of travel involved. And as you know, I love traveling and I love travel writing and I love fiction that has to do with travel. So I think this will be a nice introduction to him. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read him and what you think, etc. Then I have The Republic by Plato. So I want to read more Plato. I actually would rather read The Phaedrus. I think that's how you pronounce it. But I'm collecting him and I think I have like an abridged version of this, which is just not good. And this is like a Penguin classic and it was so cheap that I thought, why not? Then I have Maximum City, Bombay Lost and Found by Suketa Mehta. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. I might be super wrong. I don't know a lot about Bombay and I would like to know more. So that's why I got it. Oh, I misspoke. I got a second book in Spanish. This is old, but you know what? Under the cover, it's actually very beautiful. Basically, it talks about composers after Bach. I like it because it does like a summary of like musical landscape after Bach and then goes into each composer. And it ends with Rossini, so I assume it's not like the most modern thing ever, but I love mini biographies. I think they are such a fun, interesting way to just learn and pick up like trivia facts, if that makes sense at all. I love that sort of knowledge. I know that might make me seem shallow, but I don't know, I just can't help it, so I bought it. I don't know if I'm going to keep this very worn out dust jacket. I might just get rid of it altogether. I think that would be best. The hardcover underneath is very beautiful, so it doesn't need it. Then I have Mother of Oscar, The Life of Jane Francesca Wilde by Joy Melville. I don't know if this will be like a good biography. I don't know, there's something about the format that I think it looks a bit sketchy, but I collect all things Oscar Wilde. I absolutely adore him and I'm so fascinated by him. I have a huge collection. That might be an interesting thing to show off at some point. So yeah, and something focused on Francesca, who was like such an interesting character. She's actually best known as Speranza because that's what she called herself, and she claimed she had connection to Dante. So it's just, she was just such a fascinating woman. Then I have We the Living by Ayn Rand. I've talked about her before here in this channel and I always said Ayn Rand, and I honestly thought that's how you said it, and then I listened to a Literary Disco episode where they said Ayn, and I was like, damn. So here's the thing with Ayn Rand. I am almost certain I will disagree with everything she proposes in her fiction, but I'm still like very drawn to her fiction and I still want to read it all. So like I've collected The Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged, and now this, and I have not read any of them, but hey, if I hate this, I can always like exchange it, so I'm fine with this. It's, again, like it's really good condition and I honestly do want to read it, even though I might not like the thesis, I might see like the writing, if that makes sense. So, and finally, this is a treasure. This was the best find and it was so cheap. And it's The Letters of Edith Wharton. Love Edith Wharton. I'm now reading The Age of Innocence because up to now I had only read her nonfiction. It's also a collection of letters and I love reading letters. So that's it. That's all I got. But I also want to show you 3 books that I ordered because I just love them and I want to plug them shamelessly. And these are 3 vintage books. They have a new collection of 5 Japanese modern classics. The Makioka Sisters by Tanizaki, The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea by Mishima, who I really love, and The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa, who is very beloved by a lot of booktubers. I have only read one short story by her, but I really enjoyed it, so I really want to check out this one. I collect Mishima. I was so happy and pleased that I did not have this one, and I have always wanted to read this Tanizaki. So because I've only read his nonfiction. These are all designed by Yuko Shimizu, who's a Japanese American illustrator and designer, and she's amazing. I'm going to drop her Instagram down below because she's awesome. Okay, so that was my book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Have you read any good books or acquired any good books recently? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to follow me on social media, like this video, and subscribe. Bye!